Hello everybody, it's Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Beyond Our Rule Ripper, and last time on Beyond Our Rule Ripper we are trying to find the other endings. We found the true ending, quote unquote, and now we're looking at other endings, because I think that if we manage to get different Beyonds, I think that's a good thing. I want to find out more. That's basically the crux. That's what you say, the crux. It's not the crust, the crux of it. Anyway, so what we've done is we've decided to go back to 4 o'clock. We've decided not to investigate the bathroom. And we've decided to also vote for Poker at the end of the trial. And we're now going to follow him into the bathroom, which might be a mistake. Let's find out. It was possible that he was simply going for the natural reason, Poker going to the bathroom. But they had taken on a very different meaning now, one too important to ignore. Considering what happened to Jin going right before the end of the hour is dangerous. He was partly talking about himself. Following the main suspect to the crime scene was a serious risk. No, it's too soon to get scared. I decided to catch the culprit ASAP. I'll go with caution though. First he took a peek of the corridor connecting the bathroom area to the rest of the bar, just in time for him to see Poker reaching its end and turning the corner. Doesn't look like he noticed me. I hope. He tried to recall if anyone else had gone there, but he hadn't been paying much attention to anyone but Poker, so he couldn't be sure. In the end, he decided to approach slowly, hoping to hear anything. Worst case scenario, he could run away as long as he wasn't too close. Here they come. He couldn't remain there for long, yet still wanted to make sure that Poker came back. Luckily, the answer came quickly. Barely a minute later, he heard Poker approaching. If he was found standing in the middle of the hallway, finding a good excuse would be a problem, and running the opposite way would be too suspicious, thus... Huh? Oh, hi. What are you doing over here? Didn't the antidotes get down by now? I'm just going to the bathroom, obviously. Right when the hour ends. Yeah, probably not the best timing, but the same can be said for you, right? Touché. Still, you're right, I should hold off. Let's go get our drinks. Hopefully that was convincing enough. Poker followed behind him, in silence. A bit too close to the time limit, don't you think? You should know me by now. I need to dance on the razor's edge or I'll be bored to death. Both options sound quite deadly. Or deathly. Though while I don't share that sentiment, there is such a thing as playing it too safe. True. Oh, that's better. As usual, by that point the group scattered back in different directions after taking their antidote. He was about to get up and resume his new task. However... his target began playing with a card while finishing his smoke. Bill caught a glimpse of the design printed in both of its... Bill caught a glimpse of the design printed in the front as it smoothly passed in between Poker's fingers, a 5 of hearts. Doesn't seem like he has any intention to leave. Well, that makes my job easier. It was a good opportunity to obtain a new piece of data. Data. Has a birthmark. Huh? Data with one solitary number. Unique data that only applied to one person. 6. His own number? There were no marks on his body, not even a tattoo. Moreover, receiving data about his own number alone didn't make any sense. Even if they'd been distributed at random. It was strange. 6 isn't my number. Where had he made a mistake? Where could he have gone wrong with his data? How could he not fit with any number at all? Was it even possible he didn't have one? Was that the reason why he couldn't find his number anywhere? No, that makes no sense. What's happening? I mean, of course, we know that his number is 4. No matter how many times he read the data, he possessed no other answer. No matter how many times he read the data he possessed, no other answer appeared, so he started doubting everything. But before falling into that spiral of paranoia, he halted. He needed to calm down. As daunting as not knowing his number was, he had chosen to focus on Rule 1. Although that wouldn't be a problem as long as Poker didn't make a move, his actions were limited to the counter. There's no way I can check my body properly here, but there's no way there's a birthmark I've never seen on it. So, given that... Anything wrong? No. I did not expect you to still be here. I'm aware of the hypocrisy of me saying this, but you should spend your time better. Yes, I know, but truth is that it feels like I've run into a dead end on my investigation. That's fair. I imagine that you've already looked for hints throughout the whole bar. Well, not quite the whole place. If you're in the dumps, you're at the best damn spot to charge back your batteries. Heard the service here is top class. As long as it's available, you can ask for whatever your palate craves. No, now's not the time to drink.
Says who?
Sir, you should slow down if you want to repeat Lime's mistake. If you don't want to repeat it.
You think I don't know my limits at my age? No way I can miscalculate like that last did.
Are those limits high?
Who do you think you're talking to, boy?
Right, vodka, of course. A shame that this game is in the way, otherwise I'd be challenging you to a drinking duel right here, right now.
Oh, save your excuses. If you think you can surpass me, prove it.
Don't provoke him, please. He would actually try to. Ah, so you do know me well after all. As you can imagine, I'm quite experienced in dealing with people like you two. Actually, if Poker did get as drunk as Lime did back then, I could get him to talk and find out if he's guilty or not. However, he was clearly just joking. While Poker was impulsive, he did take the death game seriously, or at least more so than Lime. To begin with, it was highly unlikely that anyone would want to risk ending in the same situation as she had. I wish there was another way to make the suspects confess. The only way to confirm someone's number was through an accusation, but accusing someone of being one ran the risk of erasing that rule. Besides, he was still against killing anyone, even the killer. Is that really the only way? He felt like he was forgetting something. He took another look at the barman. It didn't take long to find the answer. There was one way to force a confession. It had some limits and entailed a serious risk, but he wasn't a stranger to danger anymore. Its limitations were the real problem. He needed to recall something first. First it was vodka, then...
What are you staring at? Is anything on my face?
No. But...
I do. Did it finally happen?
He got up from his seat and approached him. He didn't want Cocktail and Poker to hear it, so he whispered. One question. I think Poker hasn't done it yet, but I swear that Cocktail has done Rule 3 already, right? The old man nodded. I can't remember what number he said.
5.
Are you sure?
My memory is one of the few things that's still functioning properly, son.
What are you two talking about?
Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?
What's with the whispering all of a sudden? Nothing, don't worry about it. Don't worry, he says. He went back to his seat. While it hadn't been as discreet as he would have liked, it didn't seem like they'd heard anything. Still, they had looked suspicious. And that's not good. Sorry, Cocktail. Luck had decided that he was the sole suspect. I could be forced to reveal their true number, as Cocktail was chosen to fulfill Rule 3 only after losing a game of rock, paper, scissors. Cocktail wasn't his main suspect, but it was the only method to make sure without a shadow of a doubt and without killing anyone. If he was innocent, it would be down to poker or darts. While it would put Cocktail in danger of being accused later on, if he was innocent, the killer was much more deadly than the accusations. Moreover, Rule 6 would stop everyone that voted for him from doing it again. And that was precisely the missing piece in his plan. The needed votes. Most should agree in cornering the killer, right? I just have to tell them when the council starts. Once it starts, no one can escape from an accusation. Once it starts, no one can escape from an accusation. It could only become a problem if someone else started it, gaining the advantage if there was a tie. However, he merely needed to have more votes in his favour. I can probably trust in lime, cigar and vodka. Piano also seems determined to catch the culprit. Same with darts if he's innocent. He was unsure about coffee, but he didn't need every vote. Rule 5 would be forced to abstain, giving another vote to the most voted name. This might work. It felt like a desperate measure. It was. He didn't mind admitting it. He was desperate. In a sense, it was a bet. The sooner he had Rule 1 under control, the sooner he could look for his own as well as the solution to the game. Now I wait. For the first time he could relax slightly. It was the calm before the stormy council. Cocktail. I'll take a drink. Okay. Another save point. Okay, so no. Yes, here. Council 6. Bill took his time drinking it. He wouldn't make that mistake either. Time went by faster than expected. Poker didn't move from the counter, making his surveillance superfluous. It's go time. Sure is. I should warn them before it begins, to make sure nothing goes wrong. 5:43. Luckily, it didn't take long for everyone to be present. Before we start, I have something to announce. Someone's in a hurry. I figured out the best way to reduce the number of suspects, safely and surely. It's simple. As soon as the council begins, I'll accuse Rule 5. Huh. My God. That's the number that Cocktail chose when he fulfilled Rule 3. If we accuse him, he'll have to tell us his real number. That guarantees that he won't lie. I'm very sorry, I don't think you're the culprit, but it's the best option we've got. I swear I'll do all I can to protect you afterwards, no matter your rule, even if you're the culprit, though if you are. 5:45, the 6th council began. That was weird. It showed it and then it didn't. The 6th council. I thought I had to click accusal then. Here we go. Write the name you wish to accuse. The bet had been placed, the only thing left was to wait for the results. For the first time, anxiousness could be felt in Cocktail's face. Was he actually the killer, or was it only the fear of having to give out his number? He wasn't alone. Everyone had frozen up in shock. The tension in the air, while high as usual during a council, felt different from everything that came before. The time was over. The result? Cocktail has obtained a majority vote. He's not Rule 5. Was as expected. You don't have to forgive me if you don't want to. I understand your decision. Yours and everyone else's. I now have Rule 6's protection, but I'll need more than that. Regardless, my rule is... silence. Accusal initiated against Rule 6. Cocktail had been cut off by a most unexpected event. An accusation against Rule 6, what he had believed to be his rule until his latest data. Why accuse that one? Why at that moment? There was only one explanation. Now, what do I do? Oh, I've got to accuse someone. Well, I know who 6 is. Do I say... That's who 6 is. A blank vote? I don't know. Cocktail, your number, quick. Oh. Too late. Oh my god. Late. He was staring at his barman's screen, unable to keep looking at its content. He turned it off and left it face down on the table. It's only been a minute or two. You can't have been eliminated yet. Neither the rules nor the clarifications specify the time limit for Rule 3 after our lie has been proven. Then it's immediately after. That's... Could I have done something different there? I don't buy it. You're trying to hide your number, or perhaps you're 3 yourself. I think he is 3, right? Respond, what's your rule? This is my answer. He disappeared. Cocktail grabbed his barman again, got up from his seat, and... without looking, he threw his barman backwards. The small device flew high, dropping somewhere on the upper floor. It could not be denied any longer. The core rules plainly forbid violent acts against any barman. The accusation against 6 had eliminated Cocktail by forcing him to break Rule 3. Whoever had started it had sentenced his death. In other words, that person had to be Rule 1. Cocktail was innocent. Only 2 suspects left, Poker and Darts. Looks like we're at another standstill. I just need to prove my innocence. And how are you going to do that? He doesn't need to. Huh? Ooh. Cocktail had been eliminated, thus shattering the chains tying him to the game. Taking advantage of his newfound, albeit fleeting freedom, he charged against Poker and rubbed shoulders with him. Fuck off! He grappled with Poker and took hold of his barman. Both men were now in a violent tussle over its control. Cocktail! What are you doing? It was plain to see, but it was hard to believe what he was seeing. If he took away Poker's barman, he could check it and confirm it that he was the killer, but that would eliminate him as well. Are you certain that it's him? Are you going to kill him? He barely had any right to ask him that. Even though it hadn't been his intention, his plan had caused his elimination, though the possibility of someone stopping him from saying his number hadn't even occurred to him. He knew well it would put him in danger. Be Poker innocent or guilty, he couldn't blame Cocktail for trying to find his killer and ignoring the plea of no more deaths. Their strengths were about equal, with no clear winner yet, in a struggle for the barman. Meanwhile, everyone else was powerless to do anything. Or so Bill thought. Someone proved it wasn't the case. Against one, a third one, an accusation that could put an end to the killer. Bill refused to vote. Even if he was the main suspect, he wasn't completely sure, and more importantly, he didn't want to kill him. Everyone else, however. Player eliminated. He was one. The truth has come to light. Abandon the stage. Antidote removed. Beware, the rule will still remain until death. Poker, that's enough. You've been eliminated. Ugh. God damn it. Poker let go of his barman, making Cocktail fall back. It was you! Why? She's French. So, we're done playing around. Poker, don't kill everyone. In what appeared to be total calmness, Poker put his hand inside his trousers and out of it, what's he going to do? Came a knife, thank God. It couldn't be called big, in fact it was part of the tableware behind the counter. It wouldn't pose a danger in someone else's hands. Poker, however, had proved his strength.
You've been eliminated already, there's no point in.
Before she could finish speaking, Cocktail jumped towards him one more time, having left the barman on the table. His goal this time was to disarm him, but... Stabby. No! Poker had anticipated Cocktail's actions and had reacted immediately. The knife had been nailed into his stomach. His hands were wrapped around it, trying to stop it from going any deeper. And the tableware's silver shine stood out from the red. It was useless. His sentence had been signed. Now he was a prisoner waiting on death row. Actually, that death would be faster and less painful. Cocktail's body flew to the floor. His wound wasn't severe enough to kill him yet, but he'd accepted that fate. Poker held what had become the murder weapon with hands dripping with liquid akin to red wine. It wasn't a lethal wound. A swift medical intervention could save him, but no one there could provide it, much less save him from the poison that was sealing his fate. Cocktail had left the stage, never to return. Poker, that's enough. You've been accused. Drop the weapon. He didn't need to check his barman to confirm it. Of course he had. He stared at the knife, as if he wasn't the one holding it. Then he looked down at the rag doll he recognised as Cocktail's body. Poker, killing us won't save you anymore. He's sneaking up on darts. His movements looked like he was sleepwalking, their words falling on deaf ears. They had to escape, and to do that, they had to end the council. Before that, though, he had to make sure they avoided Cocktail's fate by... I'm Rule 6. The next second, understanding his intentions, Lime got ahead of him and pressed the request end button. Every second was decisive. It wouldn't be easy, but they'd have to run away from him without leaving the bar until the poison stopped him. At any moment, except accusals, any council member can request the end of the council. If all attending players accept, the council will close. Eliminated players didn't enter that equation, and yet a message appeared on their screens. Request rejected by at least one player. For a moment, they all looked at each other in disbelief. Who could have rejected it, but they quickly looked back at him. Darts. Poker. Darts tried to defend himself and failed. Contrary to Cocktail, his death was practically immediate. The knife cut his throat before he could react. They were all chained to that table, to a council that had become a nightmare from which they couldn't escape for the close to 10 minutes it had left. Poker had become the Reaper that would decide the winners. He turned his head to the other person who had sat next to him in every council, Coffee. Slid over on his roller skates.
Please.
Before he could get to her, Coffee began to rise from her seat. Even though she would be eliminated, the fear of death was too strong. It was pointless. The knife moved once more. The young woman reacted by using her own barman as a shield. To her surprise, the knife stopped before touching the screen. With his other hand, he grabbed her wrist and threw her away from the table. Her body crashed against the wall a few meters from it. She was immediately eliminated. Looking up from the ground, frozen by fear so cold it went down to her bones, she stayed there motionless. Sorry, don't have the gall to kill a girl. The poison will have to do it. Try your luck outside if you want. She tried to get up, but her body was trembling too much. Next. This one's easy. A cold smile appeared on his face for a moment, but as he started walking, all emotions vanished again, as if he'd gone into a deep slumber. Hello. By the time he got there, his next victim had already stood up.
Don't bother. I can go on my own.
The old man, in resignation, began walking towards the bar's exit at a slow but steady pace. Eliminated. Please, my Poker's eyes moved past her, past Lime, and looked instead to the next person in line. Me. No, I won't let... Lime tried to put herself between them, even while knowing that their strength couldn't even compare, and she's also French. Poker pushed her down on the sofa that Bill was on, the same one that Jin had sat on during the game's first hours. Lime! Poker! How thankless. One more time, Poker's hand moved much quicker than either of them. With his left hand, he held Lime. He launched forwards, and with his right, Bill's little bet to find the killer had been a success. Those were the consequences. Once the poison took Poker's life and the other eliminated players, there would only be 3 left alive: Lime, Cigar, and Piano. Those had been victors chosen by Rule 1. Maybe this isn't the worst end after all. Death End, Joker. So is that an actual ending? It is an ending, but is it one of the listed endings? Welcome once more. Alas, you came back here, though thankfully no death lasts forever. For you. The same cannot be said for the unfortunate rules, however. So what mournful tragedy led to the end of your life this time? That was quite the massacre, the result of releasing the leash on Rule 1 by pushing him into a corner. And yet his attitude at the end was quite interesting, wouldn't you say? He's right, really, as much as some would deny it. I'm sure our poor protagonist did. Anyways, that must have been quite shocking unless you already knew his identity. Or were you already sure it was him? I guess you did, if you ended up here. And that is, of course, the big problem here. You were right. The other rules were right. He was the killer all along. Who could imagine that being correct would lead to death? Anyways, congratulations on your correct guess, Detective. You might wonder if there's any meaning to this being a death end instead of a bad one, or even dead. Is there any difference? There is. After all, it's a complete end. This death game ends shortly after this, therefore it's a death end. Do you wish to see it fully? Well, if you want to see beyond it, I might be able to let you. Not now, however. First thing, focus on reaching the true end of this tale, which I have done, so this is going to be either 9 or 11, I'm assuming. Though what can be defined as true in this case is subjective, to say the least. This conclusion is as real as any other you can find. Yet it's not the most significant. By true end, I'm mostly speaking about an end that shows the full truth. Once you've seen that truth, you'll be ready to experience this death end to its actual end. Trust me, the wait will be worth it. Fun fact, this end has two versions. Both end in the same way, but the events of the council are somewhat different. You don't need to see both to obtain all the endings. However, if you're curious, try thinking about what change would create a divergence. With that out of the way, how do you keep the beast on its leash? Simple, keep the mystery alive, and you will remain alive. Though naturally, this charade can't last forever. The clock keeps ticking forwards towards an inevitable end. And for now, you need to influence this rule's goals into a safer position. Easier said than done, I know. So I'll simplify it for you. Though you should have realised it already, the key lies in the vote at the end of the 5th Council. By changing its result, you'll be able to reach a different path. It might be enough to change your vote, but in the worst case scenario, go back to the 4th. Your choices in these two councils will decide other rules' votes. Is that help good enough for you? We'll see. I'll be here waiting for you if you need me again, which you probably will. Don't get me wrong, I trust that you'll reach the truth. It might take you a little while longer, however. Regardless, let's make a toast in honour of a fruitful game and the souls of these lost rules, for the Golden Jack and for our dearest owner. That's 11. Extra unlocked in photo album. Cool. Do you wish to see beyond this end? I do. Yes, I do. Okay. Let's click on here. Yes. How much beyond? Please, end this game. Save the kid. Save that girl for Jin's sake. Save Cigar for her children. Your life is over, just like mine will be soon. Now that your hands have been tainted, use them well. Redeem yourself. While everyone else was doing the vote, those last whispers from Cocktail decided everything. To Poker, they were a curse that offered him salvation. He understood the power that he had, what Cocktail was asking him to do with it. If he couldn't wash his hands, he could at least prevent anyone else from tainting theirs. He could drag that cursed game to his grave. Redemption through further murder, that was the twisted idea Cocktail had suggested, one fitting the game, and also fitting the person he'd become. It was you, why? So we're done playing around. Poker. Poke.
Please. Don't bother, I can go on my own.
No, I won't let... Lime. The Poker. Oh, thankless. Stab in. That was how Raw Billiard's life ended on this path. Let's now look at the ending of this tragedy. A different end from the one you already know, seen through the eyes of the girl that will make its final choice. And I guess we'll see that next time on Borderline Games. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Beyond Our Rule Ripper, and I will see you next time. Have a good evening. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye.